Hey, how you doing? Today we're going to record some vocals for a track that we're working on called Shipwreck Off The Coast, and I'm going to document the process so you can see how we do it. So there's probably going to be three things we do in this video. A bit of prep, getting the lyrics together, working out the lines to sing. This is backing vocals. Kat's already laid down the main vocal at Small Pond in Brighton. You can see the making of video we posted just recently, which shows a bit of that process. Get the mic set up, get the room set up, lay down the tracks. Then I'll show you some of the editing and mixing process for vocals that I put in place so you can hear how that sounds and see how I approach that. So a quick disclaimer is in order, I think. I am not a professional singer. I'm going to do some backing vocals, as I say, on this track. I've been taking lessons for a while. You will be hearing very raw, unprocessed vocals, which I think are good enough for this kind of backing vocal role. You'll also hear the final finished processed version at the end of the video so you can get an idea of the effect that a bit of processing and a bit of polish can have. With that in mind, let's get cracking. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually jot down the lyrics because it's been a while since I've sung it. Just going to make a bit of a plan of the lines to record. It's always good to be organised. Let's see. Okay, so far there's some oohs, there's a low and a high harmony oohs, let's just repeat it twice, and then there's a doubly bit where I'm just singing along at a lower octave, and then there's an ending, and there's an ending part 2. Ending part 2 has this line, which I can't work out. So in love and alone, maybe you need some hope. So we're going to ask Kat what she sung. Cool, so let's get to the actual recording. Some tips and tricks then for getting the best sound overall. First of all, the singer. Practice, training, dedication to an art, these are all very good things. In my case, as I say, I'm still somewhat a beginner, but that's the place you can spend time and effort to have the biggest improvement. Second of all, the room. So while you might think the next most important thing is a really good microphone, the microphone is only recording the sound of the source in its environment in the room. So this is just a spare bedroom home studio, and we've done a few things to make it a little better. So on the mic we've got a reflection filter to stop some of the room sound in the side and back of the mic. We've got some reflection panels which stop again some high frequency room noise. Andrew Huang, if you're a follower of him on YouTube, he said a few times I think he uses like a duvet if he's out travelling. What you're trying to do with vocal, I guess, unless you're going for a special effect, is get a drier signal as possible, and then you can add your reverbs and spaces later in the mix. Of course, if you've got a very nice sounding room without resonance and so on, like an expensive studio, then go ahead and get the room on purpose. Third thing, pop filter. So the fluffy foamy thing around the microphone will help with this a bit. Pop filter, wind filter. I've also got one of these things. And ideally what you want to do is cut out all of the the plosives, as they're called, really low frequency noise, which when you listen back to a recording is just like really loud. It can push your compressor, it can clip your preamps, so trying to remove wind noise. Of course, microphone technique is really good at that. If you get a vocalist who can stop going puh into the mic, better yet, better still. So another good trick taught to me by Nick Hemingway, awesome producer and engineer, hi Nick, was that if you're working with a vocalist, i.e. it's not just yourself, be very nice, be very kind, because any emotion that's in them will surely come out in the recording. In my case, I'll just beat myself up until I get a take I like, but you shouldn't really do that with someone else. Basic setup for recording. I've got Pro Tools and I've got a guide vocal and the main vocal. So the guide vocal is a rough recording of what I'm going to sing, and the main vocal is the one that's done in the proper nice studio that I'm going to be harmonising with and getting my timing cues for. So for backing vocals, I want to be as on the money as possible. There are tools for aligning afterwards, like VOCALS I think it's called, but doing it naturally by practising along with the main vocal will have a better result and be less work ultimately. And then I'm going to hear myself as well with a bit of compression to bring up the level and a load of reverb so that it sounds good, so that I can hear myself, so that I can hear any errors, and I'm going to get some takes. Okay, so a couple of other things right before we start. First of all, the latency on the audio interface I've put right down to like 128 samples. That means what I'm hearing in my ears is delayed by just the smallest amount possible. Other thing, because I'm recording myself, I use this. It's a wireless keyboard and touchpad, in fact. So over there, got the computer, and I can just start and stop, record, and do a load of takes without having to move too much. If it's a good take, I can just stop. If it's a bad take, I can stop and record again without having to do the whole go over there thing. Handy. You're going to hear audio through the little Zoom digital recorder, which is just here. And then, of course, later on, we'll hear the process bit, which is done through the mic, which is a Shure SM7B, which is a very cool mic. Couple of dodgy notes, so we just do a few takes. Ooh, ooh. Not bad. Ooh. Here's a good tip. If you've got a very low output microphone like the Shure SM7B, you need to use a lot of gain on your preamp, and that means if there's any noise, it's going to pick it up and amplify it up. So don't run your cable past a power adapter, because you'll get this little buzz over everything, and you'll have to re-record the vocals. Actually, you probably don't need footage of me redoing it. Imagine it's like the first, except for what's being recorded doesn't have a buzz. Okie doke, now the challenging bit. Let's give it a go, see what happens. Surrounded by stunning scenery. Anyway, time to eat. We've done the recording. Woo! Hey peeps, so it turned out that we got way too much footage for just one video with this little project. Thought it would fit in one, but actually 50 minutes is a bit much. So we split it into 3 different videos, as you can probably tell from the title of this one. This first one covered prep and tracking, that's laying the tracks down. In the next couple of videos, we'll be talking about editing, comping, EQ, reverb, bit of pitch correction, and some general mixing stuff. So stay tuned, and the other couple of parts will be coming just in the next week or so, I guess. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.